This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So, we're talking at the top of the show about the declining rate of inflation, which is yesterday's CPI slipped down to 2.4% last 12 months, and about the same for the last 3 months. And that's the lowest inflation rate, I believe, since March of 2021, going all the way back, kind of pre Biden. But here's my pal John Carney. It's a wonderful piece. Who fingers 71 prices that actually fell. The price fell. Okay, not some fancy model of CPI. In January, 71 prices fell, which is wonderful, one after another. And then he's got, he's got 47 prices that fell year on year, led by eggs, down 34.2%, gasoline, down 8%, men's suits, butter, motor fuel, energy, toys, tomatoes, potatoes, sporting goods. John Carney is he's the Breitbart editor for economics and finance and co-author of the daily Breitbart Business Digest, a fabulous publication. So, John, this first of all required a lot of work. How did you isolate these things? That's not easy.
No, it took a long time. There's a lot of prices in those CPI reports, and I had to go through them one by one, list them out, put them down, double check it. But look, I think it's really important to get the message out there. Donald Trump said, I'm going to lower prices, and everybody said, you can't lower the prices of anything. The most you could do is lower the rate of inflation. Prices never go down. That turns out not to be true. We've got 71 things that went down in January, and then in a smaller group that are, but still substantial, 47, I think, that were down year on year. So prices are coming down. And the big one, remember, it was not that long ago, I think it was over the summer, that the Democrats were trying to beat Donald Trump up on the price of eggs. Right? They kept talking about eggs. Eggs are down 34% year on year, and they're still falling. We can bring prices down. Look, generally, the entire index isn't going to come down, but these are, literally, as you said, tomatoes, potatoes. We're bringing these prices down, and it is actually affecting people. And of course, it's totally underreported. Nobody
reported
actually
this.
Pointing it out.
Nobody. You're the only one on the planet who has looked at it this way. By the way, I texted Brooke Rollins, Agriculture Secretary. Brooke is a dear friend of mine, that eggs were down 34.2% year on year. She was ecstatic about it. I'm not sure she knew. But look at all this other stuff. Moving, storage, freight expenses down 16%. Smartphones down 11%. Then, of course, gasoline in the energy sector down 8%, 9%, 10%. But other stuff, men's suits and sport coats down 6%, right? Televisions down 5%. I think you mentioned butter down 5%. Fresh fruits down 3%. I mean, these are important items, household items. Toys for kids down 2.6%. Tomatoes down 2.4%. Potatoes down 2.3%. Sporting goods. I mean, this is here's one. Health insurance, John, down. Health insurance, 2.2%. That's remarkable. Used cars and trucks down 2%. women's underwear. I mean, just, it goes on. Infants and toddlers, apparel down 1%. These are very important, often used items, and they're falling in price.
That's right. One of the things that I did in this, just so people know, I made sure there's no double counting on my list because the CPI, it has like broader categories and narrower categories. So you won't find on the list apparel and then men's suits. I made sure that I only counted things once. So those are real lists. And there's no double counting in them. This is items that people have to buy that are down. I will say in January, it's Valentine's Day, Larry. So sweets to candies are down.
That's right.
Flowers are down in January. This is month over month. And jewelry is down. So, all the listeners, you don't have an excuse. Get your sweetheart something for Valentine's Day because the prices and all that went down in January.
So, all right, let's move on. I want just, you talked about this tarifflation, which did not come to pass. I mean, goods prices are basically flat. But you mentioned this New York Fed article, and it's kind of funny because, let me see, what did you say? For sure, the results will be published. Oh, yeah. Of course, the anti-tariff financial press breathlessly reports Amiti's study. This is the New York Fed study. And the Wall Street Journal, right on target, John. The Wall Street Journal ran an editorial on it and didn't bother to question it at all. Now, why, in brief, simple terms, why is the New York Fed wrong and 90% of the tariff not passed on?
Right. So what the way this study works is they count the first of all, the big thing is they're counting only whether the tariffs are being absorbed by U.S. Importers. So one thing is a lot of those U.S. importers, so they're not counting at all whether or not retail prices are rising, but it gets misreported like that all the time as if households are paying more. But a lot of the U.S. importers, Larry, are actually foreign subsidiaries of U.S. subsidiaries of foreign companies. So if BMW is importing things into the U.S. and paying the tariff, that comes out of BMW in Germany's eventual bottom line. But in this Fed study, it gets recorded as an American paying the tariff. So they're wrong. What they're doing is they're counting the price at the docks. The other problem is for these affiliate transactions, and by the way, this isn't a small percentage of imports. 50% of U.S. imports are from affiliated related parties. So it's half of all of the imports are coming through a related party. Sometimes that's into a U.S. subsidiary of a foreign company. Sometimes it's to an American company that's importing from its foreign subsidiary. What that means, though, is that the Customs Bureau does not allow you to immediately report lower prices because they're afraid people are going to try to dodge tariffs by saying, oh, we just paid less from our foreign subsidiary for the thing that we're importing into our country, so don't charge us as much. Why
doesn't the Wall Street Journal? They write this editorial, John, and they don't mention any of this stuff.
And Larry, I reported these problems 7 years ago when Donald Trump put these put on China tariffs 7 years ago. The New York Fed produced a very similar study. I pointed it out 7 years ago. Even some people at the New York Fed noticed it about 6 months after I did, that this affiliate was a problem. The guys who really do trade economics, by the way, these are New York Fed economists. They're not really trade people. They're labor market economists, actually. But the guys who really do trade make sure that when they are counting prices and how things shift, that they take out all these affiliated transactions because they know you cannot count those in the same way, because it's really a bookkeeping exercise when you are a multinational company and you're counting the price of something you're importing what you paid your foreign subsidiary for. That's a different, that's not a real transaction price, which is why this Fed study doesn't measure what it believes it measures. I excused that 7 years ago. Maybe, they found a data set. Larry, you know this. Like, economists find some new data set, they fall in love with it, and they think it tells them everything about the world. If they go and interview the people who really deal with that kind of data, they discover that it doesn't tell them the story they think. These guys should know because, again, 7 years ago, the study was flawed. They updated it for 2026 for the 2025 tariffs, and it's still wrong.
Yeah. Meanwhile, commodity goods prices that are easily tariffed are moving. 0.6 last 3 months, 1%.
That's how you know it's wrong.
Months. I know.
That's how you know this 90%. If Americans are paying 90% of the tariffs, how come the prices of anything doesn't go up?
I know, it's just incredible. Anyway, John Carney of Breitbart, the best of the best. Thank you, buddy. We'll take a quick break, and my pal David Malpass is going to talk about Kevin Warsh and what he should do as the new Fed chairman. I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back, folks. Stick around.
Thanks for listening to The Larry Kudlow Show. You can hear The Larry Kudlow Show Saturday mornings at 10. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?